Imagine a neighborhood where the rules are not written down but understood in the silence between heartbeats, where safety is a fragile thing you build with your own two hands and sometimes you have to defend with them too. This is the world of Fezco, or Fez, from the television series Euphoria, a young man who runs a small-time drug operation out of his grandmother's home while acting as the de facto guardian for his younger brother, Ashtray. To the outside eye, to the police, to anyone passing judgment from a comfortable distance, Fez is a criminal, a violent drug dealer, another statistic. But to look closer, to truly see the tapestry of his actions, is to witness a profound and critical distinction. Fez's violence is almost exclusively protective, a shield, not a sword. It is reactive, born from a fierce, uncompromising loyalty, and it stands in stark contrast to the predatory, pleasure-seeking cruelty that defines other characters in his world. Understanding this difference is not about making excuses, it is about understanding a psyche forged in survival, where violence becomes a twisted form of love and the only language of care he knows how to speak. Fez's entire existence is a monument to protection. Orphaned and raised by a tough-as-nails grandmother who was also deep in the drug trade, his childhood was stripped away, replaced with the brutal responsibilities of caregiving and commerce. His first and most sacred charge is Ashtray, a boy he found as an infant during a deal and took in without a second thought. Their relationship is the core of Fez's being. He is not just an older brother, he is a father, a mother, and a protector, all rolled into one. Every decision he makes is filtered through this lens. Will this keep Ash safe? Will this provide for us? The walls of their home, cluttered with the detritus of their trade, are the walls of a fortress he maintains at all costs. His violence, when it erupts, is almost always in defense of this fragile family unit. When a customer becomes aggressive and disrespectful inside their home, Fez's response is swift and brutal. It is not to extract more money or to show off his power, it is to cleanse the space, to reassert the boundary that keeps the chaos of the streets from contaminating the only sanctuary he and Ash have. He is defending his territory in the most primal sense, because the territory is synonymous with his brother's safety. This protective instinct extends, surprisingly, to Rue, the show's main character struggling with severe addiction. Fez is her dealer, a relationship that is inherently exploitative, and yet, he subverts it constantly. He refuses to sell to her when she's at her lowest, he cuts her off when he sees her spiraling, and he provides a calm, non-judgmental presence in the storm of her life. In a world where everyone else sees Rue as a problem or a burden, Fez sees a person to be shielded. His confrontation with the truly predatory drug lord, Mouse, is the clearest illustration of this. Mouse forces Fez into a corner, using Rue as leverage to make him commit a murder. Fez is visibly sickened, trapped between his own survival and the moral line he doesn't want to cross. The violence here is a nightmare for him, a last resort in a game where all the rules are stacked against him. He is not enjoying it, he is enduring it, trying to navigate an impossible situation to protect both Rue and Ash from a far more sinister and predatory kind of evil. Even his legendary beating of Nate Jacobs, the show's arch-villain, is an act of righteous, protective fury. Nate is a manipulator, a psychological predator who destroys lives from behind a mask of privilege. When Nate threatens Fez and, by extension, the people Fez cares about, Fez responds with a raw, physical catharsis that audiences cheer not because violence is good, but because it is the only language a brute like Nate might understand, wielded by someone who uses it as a last resort to defend the vulnerable. The psychological difference here is everything. Predatory violence, like that of Nate or Mouse, is proactive. It is about control, domination, and often, a perverse sense of pleasure. It is violence used as a tool for expansion, for ego, for entertainment. It seeks out weakness to exploit. Fez's violence is the opposite, it is reactive. It is a fortress going into lockdown, not an army marching on a neighbor. He never seeks out fights. He never hurts someone for fun, for money beyond what is owed, or to assert dominance over someone weaker. In fact, he often shows remarkable restraint, walking away from provocations until the line is crossed into his circle of care. His demeanor is consistently calm, almost weary. The violence is a burden, a dirty job that comes with the title of protector in a lawless world. You see the weight of it in his eyes afterward, the sorrow, the exhaustion. He is not a sadist, he is a soldier in a war he never enlisted in, fighting only to keep his tiny platoon alive. This is why, despite his actions, Fez evokes empathy rather than fear. We sense his code. He is not a shark circling the water, he is a guard dog chained to a post he must defend, barking and biting only when strangers get too close to the door. His moral compass, though unorthodox, is unmistakable and rooted in this protective code. He has a deep, old-school sense of honor. He believes in loyalty, in paying debts, in respecting elders, and in dealing fairly. His violence often erupts when this code is broken by others, when someone is disrespectful, when they threaten his family, when they bring chaos into his ordered, if criminal, world. This code is his attempt to impose some morality on an immoral profession. It is his way of being a good man within the impossible circumstances he was born into. He is trying to build a life where love is possible, but in his environment, love looks like being the hardest person in the room so that the people you love never have to be. The tragedy of Fez is that this very quality, his protective loyalty, is also his greatest vulnerability. It is what forces him into situations that escalate beyond his control. His refusal to give up Ash, his willingness to stand up to Mouse for Rue, these are the noble choices that lead to his ultimate downfall. The system and the more predatory wolves around him have no use for a man with a heart, and they conspire to crush him for it. In the end, Fezco stands as a powerful narrative argument that context and intent define an action as much as the action itself. To simply label him violent is to miss the entire story. His violence is a symptom of a world that failed him, a language he learned before he could properly read, and the only tool he was given to build a shelter for those he loves. He represents the idea that in the absolute absence of societal protection, in the vacuum created by failed institutions and broken families, individuals will create their own brutal systems of justice and care. He is not a hero in the traditional sense, but he is a guardian. He forces us to ask difficult questions. What does protection look like when you have nothing? What does love look like when you have never been shown softness? For Fez, the answers are written in scars and clenched fists, a lifelong, violent vow to ensure that the people in his care feel a safety he himself has never truly known. His story is a heartbreaking testament to the human instinct to protect, even when the only armor you have is the very thing that marks you as a monster in the eyes of the world.